Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 2, week 15, ending July 29th, 2019. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I've bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great CanSlim growth stock investor. I'm learning and growing every week and sharing my journey with you. Watch me on my journey, learn from my mistakes, and celebrate my successes. I'm still finding myself tweaking my sell rules that I set up last year. So I'm taking off the 200-day simple moving average. I really want accelerating stocks, so waiting around on a stock for 200 days isn't really working for me. And then I added 2 rules. One is the gap up rule. For when a stock has a big gap up, I can set the floor at 1% below the low of that day. And I added the 8-day simple moving average, again for high flyers, my quick moving stocks. I'm finding I need to use this on my IPOs. According to the IBD that you can find at investors.com, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. Several months ago, I added these 3 blue lines, which I thought were areas of resistance, and I wanted to see the S&P go above them and stay above them. Now I've taken off 2 of those, and I've just kept the topmost, and now I've added 2 more that I put in purple. So the dashed purple line is at 29.63. If the market falls below that point, I'm hoping that my automatic sell rules are getting rid of the weak performers. I would like to see the S&P 500 index stay above the 3,000 mark. It did close this week at 3025, which I believe is a new high for week ending. Down in the volume section, I put a 1, 2, 3 at May and June, where we had a bunch of red days. Now we're starting to see more green days with maybe 1 or 2 red days mixed in. That's shown over at number 4. The volatility index, the lower the better on this one. I did like to see it below 16 where I drew that solid yellow line. That's when the market wasn't performing well, but now that it's starting to act better, I would really like to see it below 12, which I put that dash yellow line. In 2017, this index was up and down around 12, so it's really not unrealistic for me to want it to get back to that point again. But we'll see what the market does. My portfolio screamed this week. I went from a 34% gain last week up to a 46% gain in the 1 year and 15 weeks I've been tracking this portfolio. That's versus about 14% for the S&P 500. I did sell 2 stocks this week. Those stocks had a loss between last week and this week of $1,200. The new stocks I bought this week, I had a $1,700 gain. And then my existing holdings from last week, I had over an $11,000 gain. So the 2 stocks I sold this week are IIPR and Now. They both triggered sell rules, but I did take a gain in IIPR and a small loss in Now. And I made 4 purchases. I sold IIPR this week. It triggered a sell when it dropped below its 28-day exponential moving average. I held it just over 6 weeks and I had a 23% gain and a 20% gain. Whenever I sell a stock, I always ask myself if I should buy it back. This stock did have a bounce off the 10-week line, but I decided I'm not going to be buying it back at this time, but I'll keep an eye on it. ServiceNow also triggered a sell when it dropped below the 28-day exponential moving average. I had 2 buys in this stock. One I held for 5.5 weeks, and I had a 0.2% gain, a total of $20. My B2 I'd held for 2.5 weeks. I had a loss of $271, down negative 4.5%. Here's the current holding bar chart. Each bar represents 1 week. Then I look at the charts and I put the charts in order of what I feel is the weakest to strongest chart, and I've numbered them here on this chart. So Amazon is my weakest stock. It is below the 28-day exponential moving average, which I usually have as my floor. I have 3 buys in this that I've held for about 7 weeks, ranging from up 8% to up 3%. So it's had a nice run, but I bought this when the S&P 500 was crossing above the 50-day simple moving average. And this stock I classified as a prior leader that was between the 200-day and 50-day moving average. It's a stock that my husband wanted in his 401k, and I had room in my portfolio, so I bought it so I could track it. While it's not a bad stock, it isn't holding its 28-day exponential moving average. So I'm going to go ahead and sell my position in this portfolio, and then I'm going to leave my husband's position. ADPT, Adaptive Biotechnologies. This is a new stock for me, and it's down 2.7%. I did raise my floor up to that 13-day simple moving average. And number one, I did buy this stock on a day that it had nice volume, but the volume hasn't been there since the purchase, so maybe I'm just in it at the wrong time. And it does have earnings a week from Tuesday on 8/6. My trading friends like to have at least a small gain going into earnings, but I've never really paid attention. I'm starting to watch it now, but don't have a sell rule around earnings. ATR. This is a stock that I've held the longest in my portfolio. I've held it for 17 weeks and it's up just about 16%. I did move my floor up to that 28-day exponential moving average. The stock also has earnings this week on Wednesday, 7/31 after the market close, so I need to pay attention to that. Hopefully it gaps up on earnings and not down. Over at number one and number two, I want you, as I go through my charts, to pay attention to this scale. On this 6-month chart, the scale is from 0 to 30%, but some stocks you'll see have a much wider range. The range on this stock is from -20 to positive 220%. This is Enphase. I've held this stock for just over 10 weeks and it's up 40%. That's awesome. I did do a B2 and a B3 in it. The B2 I've held for just over 3 weeks and it's up 7.5%. And the B3 I've held for just about 3 weeks and it's up 4%. Back in May when I first purchased this stock, I did make a B2 on May 29th, but it triggered a sell rule on May 31st. So I had a 7% loss for $416 on this. This stock is flirting with the 8 and 13-day simple moving average, going above and below it. So that's why I'm considering it not one of my strongest stocks. But I did move my floor up to the 28-day exponential moving average. Earnings are also this week on Tuesday, 7/30 after the market close. So we'll watch and see what this stock does. Fastly. This is a new stock for me. I just held it for 1 day and it's up 4%. I did move my floor up to that 8-day simple moving average. This is a new line for me. I haven't been using this 8-day, but for these IPO stocks that move up so quickly, I do want to limit my losses and protect my gain. Earnings are a week from Thursday on 8/8. GSX. This is another stock that I purchased this week. I've held it for 3 days and it's up 10%, which is awesome. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Should I leave my floor at 8% or move it to 1% above the purchase price? And I decided to move it up 1% above the purchase price. LK, Luckin Coffee. This is another IPO stock that I just bought this week. I've held it for 2 days and it's up 5%. And I did move my floor up to that 8-day simple moving average. This is a coffee, obviously, a coffee company, and it's in China. GSB, Globalscape. I've held this stock for 6 days and it had a huge gap up on Friday on earnings. It's up 32% in those 6 days. It would be a shame to lose my gain. So I moved my floor up to that 1% below the low on 7/26. This stock also had a huge gap up on earnings in March. I put a number 1 and the number 2 showing the volume. That was a gap up on earnings. And then it held that. It had been flat for a very long time. Then it had that gap up and it's continually flirted with these 8 and 13-day simple moving average, coming down to the 28-day just a couple times. It had that big drop at number 5. I don't know what's up with that, but it recovered nicely and continued on up. This stock does have super low volume, and my trading friends warn me about the ability to get out of the stock when I want to. Beyond Meat. This stock is amazing. I've held it for 8.5 weeks and it's up 154%. And I did make a second buy in this on 7/18, which I've held for about a week and a half now, and that is up 37%. I had to think about what to do here in terms of my floor because I have such a nice gain, and earnings are Monday after the market close on 7/29. So I moved my floor up to the 8-day simple moving average, and I'm hoping that this stock doesn't drop below it. This is another stock that I got kicked out of and then bought it back. I had a B1 in this that I bought on 5/21. I got kicked out the same day with an 8% loss, and then on 5/29 I bought it back. Here's my current dollar gain for each stock. This is just the B1 position, and I've sorted in the losers on the top and the winners on the bottom. I just have one loser this week, ADPT, which has a loss of $265, and I've only held that stock 1 week, so you just see that one box. Then the percentage change for the B1, also sorted with the losers on the top and the winners on the bottom. ADPT is up there on the top again. Amazon, I've had 2 weeks in a row with losses, so like I said, that one's probably going to get kicked out this week. This is the industry breakdown, and the little dots on it with the number show the number of buys I have in it. So Beyond Meat, I have 2 buys. It's by far my largest holding with 33,685. And then Enphase, I have 3 buys in it, and its total value is 24,708. At the end of the week of 7/26, I have a cash balance of $449. If I want to make an add-on buy or buy a new stock, I'm going to need to sell something first. I'm working on my routine for developing a watch list. So each week I start a watch list in MarketSmith. This is one I started on 7/24, and you can see 2 of the stocks I've circled. Those ones I actually did purchase. And then I continued to add to this over the weekend. Sometimes I have time to look at this further. Sometimes this is as far as I get. 3 weeks ago, I was actually able to move my watch list into Fidelity, where I can put the actual price and then it will watch the stock over time from what I put in as the purchase price. I've sorted this with the losers on the top and the winners on the bottom. The 2 best performers in this are Square and CyberArk. Over on the right-hand side down at the bottom is last week's performance. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.